Thank you for choosing Morning Live. Now, yesterday marked what would have been the 99th birthday of the late anti-apartheid stalwart Harry Gwala. Harry served 8 years on Robben Island until his release in 1972. But he was then rearrested in 1976 and sentenced to life imprisonment. And that, of course, until his release in 1988. And after that, he suffered motor neuron disease, which robbed him of the use of his arms in later life. Now, to mark the upcoming centenary of the life of Harry Gwala, the Harry Gwala Foundation was launched yesterday. And joining us now is the interim chairperson and deputy chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi. Good morning and thanks for coming through.
Good morning and thanks for the invite. Truly appreciate it.
I must say, I'm very excited that this foundation has been launched, if for no other reason than just to give us a glimpse into the life of another stalwart, in this instance, Harry Themba Gwala.
It's true.
So tell us a little bit about him and his legacy and what inspired the formation of this foundation.
Well, a former teacher, a former trade unionist, a revolutionary, somebody who inspired lots of people, including myself, to say, if you believe in an idea, you are prepared even to sacrifice your life for that idea. You know, in the 80s, when we had this a call to say freedom or death, victory is certain, is one of the people that led that call and made it possible for all of us to see that there is indeed a future for this country, which is a new South Africa, the democracy that we are celebrating today. So he made huge sacrifices. I remember one when his wife passed on. He was not even allowed to go and bury his wife. And that, to us, symbolizes the sacrifice that people paid to have the freedom that we have. So we felt that let's have this foundation so that we can prepare for the centenary celebrations next year and ensure our children and those that have never heard about Harry Gwala, at least they know about Harry Gwala, and we can be in a position to go all over the country and spread his name, his knowledge, and his ideas.
And he was a very interesting character, colossus of a man. And speaking of the democratic dispensation, Harry Gwala was one of the people who was fiercely critical of the negotiated settlement that led to our democracy in 1994. Talk to us about that.
Well, he felt that you can't negotiate while you are in chains. And I think it's vindicated if you check, indeed, we have a new democracy. But the reality is that we still have the same setup. Majority of our people are still poor, majority of our people are still in poverty, majority of our people are still unemployed. And he felt that when you negotiate while you are still in chains, it becomes very, very difficult. But in the ultimate end, because he was part of the collective, he was persuaded to accept that the only way to get ourselves where we are is through negotiations. And he supported that. And in the ultimate end, he was elected the chief whip of the party there. And he also led the establishment of the provincial government in KZN. But it's somebody that we owe. It's somebody that I feel we also owe an explanation to the family to say, we are Harry Gwala is us. And therefore, it's very, very important that today, tomorrow, and forever, that we always cherish his ideals and we always ensure that people know about Harry Gwala.
And Harry Gwala, of course, which is why I'm excited about this, because this is one of the characters who's always interested me.
Yes.
And I remember Charles Ngakula, the minister then at the time of his passing, you know, talking about this man who commanded so much attention and respect when he spoke, even in the latter part of his life, when he no longer had the use of his arms and his neck in a brace. And yet, when Harry Gwala spoke, there was silence in the room.
His oratory was unmatched. I remember when we went to the night vision before the funeral of the late Chris Hani, and we were all tired, and it was very cold. We were about to sleep in the stadium, and when the speaker said Harry Gwala is about, he brought life in that night vision, and he spoke powerfully. I think he was the speaker of the evening in that night vision. But also, he visited areas where other leaders were scared to go. In an area where I was born, in Ekurhuleni, previously known as East Rand, There were some leaders that were scared to go there, but he went there. He was with us, and he motivated us to say, stay on course, this will pass. And he also motivated us to say, defy now, you'll account later, because your lives are at risk. But what I like about him is his teachings. I mean, he was a teacher, and he taught people like Moses Mabhida, who went on to be the Secretary General of the Communist Party. But he never said, I taught you, and therefore you can't be my leader. And that is why he was a staunch communist. And he brought different angles when you have a debate. And he respected young people's freedom to decide. He didn't say, I'm a leader and therefore follow me. We are told that at one stage when he was in Robben Island, even when young people were playing, he will go and wash his own dishes. He will not say, stop playing, go and wash my dish because I'm a leader, I'm an elderly. But he continued to do those things. So it's a demonstration of his love for our country, for our people, and this kind of new leadership that we need now. And that is why some of us are inspired by him, and we remain inspired by him, and we hope when we celebrate 100 years of his life, South Africans will be inspired by his teachings and his commitment to a free, democratic South Africa. And
you've invited South Africans to join in this year-long celebration. But what are you ultimately hoping to achieve? What is the ultimate objective of the Harry Gwala Foundation?
Well, we want to be there where the victims are. You know, now in KZN, unfortunately, we still have the problem of violence, political violence. We really believe we must be on the side of the weak. We also want to be on the side of women that are going through difficulties, because it was this inspiration that made us to respect participation of women in our struggle. But at the same time, we really believe that these teachings must be made available to everyone, so that people can know that there was this leader who sacrificed everything, health-wise, politically, and socially, for our country to be free. And it's very, very important that South Africans acknowledge that this revolutionary, even though he might be dead, but his voice must always roar, and he still remains the Lion of Midlands, and therefore his teachings must be made available to all our children.
Well, thank you so much, Panyaza Lesufi, for stopping by, and really looking forward to seeing what the Harry Gwala Foundation manages to achieve, and also this year-long celebration. And Panyaza Lesufi, of course, the Deputy Chairperson of the ANC here in Gauteng, and he is the Chairperson of the newly founded Harry Gwala Foundation. Right, from this, let's cross over